back everyone to Skincare and Beauty with Herky Perkins, where I do a lot of unboxings, skincare and makeup tutorials, and I also do some product reviews along the way. So today I'm going to be doing a foundation wear test with my new Becca Ultimate Coverage 24-hour foundation. So I got one in my Boxy Charm base box, plus I got another one during Boxy add-ons, which was only $12 when it normally retails for $44. I figured I wasn't 100% sure on my shade, so might as well get a secondary one so I could test out and see which one works best for me. And I'm glad I did, because one's I think closer to my shade and the other one's more yellow. So today I'm going to be seeing how this foundation wears on its own with no serums or oils or anything like that. You guys know that I typically like to mix a serum into my foundation. Many of my friends have actually mentioned to me that this foundation is too heavy. So I'm going to see and play with my techniques and how it lays out basically, and see if it starts breaking out throughout the day. Now that I'm 35, I want to make sure whatever foundation I use is gonna wear well. It's not gonna creep up on me, on my fine lines and wrinkles, and I'm dry skinned as well, so you want to make sure it doesn't get all patchy, or you know what I mean. So I'm going to see if this foundation is truly meant for those with mature skin and how long it will last before it breaks down. Right now I'm filming about 11:30, so I will try to do at least an 8-hour wear test before my final check-in. So I will be doing check-ins throughout the day, as many as I can. Bring these out and show you the two colors. So this is cashmere and this is vanilla. I actually got vanilla in my box and I did cashmere as an add-on. And what's funny, they're almost identical again, but one is more neutral than the other. But honestly, just looking at them, this one is the more yellow. I think this was cashmere. Yeah, it's cashmere. This is more yellow than vanilla. So I definitely feel that vanilla would be more complementary to my skin. I hope. For me personally, I don't mind going in a little bit lighter, and just warming it up with my contours and bronzers. I'd rather be the same undertone than being way too dark or way too light. As long as it's within the spectrum, I'm fine. Or way too yellow, oh my gosh, yeah. But anyways, before I start with this, of course I need some of these. So I'm gonna go in for primer today with my Touch and Soul Glossy Bomb. This is such a nice primer. I've been actually liking to use the brushes for application. For some reason, I feel like it applies it better and my hands are not nasties and stickies. And always remember, bring your primer down, because so many times we forget. Even myself, I will forget at times and just get my chin, but it's like we do drag our foundation down our necks, most of us. So let's shake her up since I haven't used it. So that was about 3 drops, and it's definitely on the thick side. I'm gonna just dab it on. I'm gonna start off by applying half of my face, and then I'll go back and do the other half just to see a comparison. Foundation brush first, which is the Hank & Henry Nikki brush. Forgot for a second. Holy smokes, this is supposed to be the lighter shade of the two. Next, I'm going to go with my damp beauty sponge and buff it out. The sponge is actually blending it out better than the brush did. And I noticed it feels actually kind of thin for me. It's not as thick as I've heard a lot of people talking about. So, not sure. Look at that. Like when you compare this to my chest area, my décolletage or whatever, it's actually a good or decent match. So for this side, I'm just gonna apply it all with the sponge. I'll wipe it onto my hand. And take one more pump in my hand and dot it, just like I did the first time. Oddly enough, the sponge applied it a little bit more thicker. When I did the brush first and then sponge, it was thinner. Look at that. Huh. So maybe I should have continued with the brush and sponge combo. I will definitely have to layer just a little bit more on my right side. Now I could see just a little bit of texture or a little bit of my pores right here, but it's not too bad. Half pump or full pump. And my sponge is not super wet, by the way. It's damp a little bit, but not super wet. I don't like a super wet sponge. So far so good. So let's layer now concealer. Use my Pretty Vulgar Undercover Concealer in shade 60 Lily White Lies, which we got in our January BoxyCharm. See how it looks. To brighten the center, I'm going to use the Milani Conceal and Perfect in shade 110 Ivory or Nude Ivory, Ivory Nude, something like that. I'm going to spritz my face so that my concealer has a little bit more blendability. I'm going to take the tiny little Midori sponge, so it's like super dirty. And I only used it yesterday after wash. Yeah. It's damp. So before I get more creasy, I'm going to set my concealer and my foundation. Of course, I'm going in with my Pretty Vulgar, the Powder Room, since it's considered now my tried and true at this point. I'm going to start off with this small Moda Brush Pro to set the concealer areas. Actually, start off with the sponge and just lightly dab it. excess. I wanted to make sure I set those in. So hopefully it stops the creasing. Now with the motor brush, weird, had a little bit lift right here, so big sponge. So I'm not sure if you could tell, but when I ended up powdering the concealer, it like did something weird in my nose. So hopefully when I put the final setting spray, it melts it together, because right now it's kind of blended, so we'll see how that goes. Next, I'm going to use my Pretty Vulgar Bronze Bee Mannequin Bronzer. I went too hard on that pan, I know for a fact. Trying to go light-handed. In case you're wondering, this is in my project pan. I will link it in the video in case you want to check it out, because I have been trying really hard to use a lot of those products. Took a smaller kind of shader brush to do my nose contour, because don't know, my nose keeps on lifting. Maybe I should have used something more pore filling on my nose. Normally I do 2 primers, and I did not do that today. Now I really, holy shit. I had a heart attack. I dropped this and I dropped this, oh my lord. Anyways, wipe it down. I really wanted to use this new Hourglass blush, or Ambient Light Blush Diffused Heat. It is such a pretty corally tone right here. But I just haven't had an opportunity. I used it one day, just kind of like, you know, to see how it was at home. Because, yeah, I don't know. I just have it, so I'm using that today. Ooh. Maybe I need a fluffier brush. I'm gonna try this Morphe A3. Oh yeah, this is so pretty. The swirl turns. Remember, you guys, you could go a little bit heavy-handed with blush, because you could always bring it down a notch. Usually once you do your setting powders at the end, or, you know, setting sprays, it diffuses it even more. All right, that's so pretty. Now to set the rest of my face, with some powder. Like I mentioned, taking my big Sandra brush from Hank & Henry. That looks good. Now for setting spray. Now for some highlight, I'm going to use my Becca Cosmetics Glitch palette. I think I'm going to mix this gray tone and this white tone to do my highlight today. Always remember you could tap it down with the sponge. Perfect. So now, off camera, finish my eye look because it's in the video from the day before, which I will link up here. And I'll be right back with the completed look before we begin our day. And I'm back. So at this point, I'm done with my eyes and my lips. For my lips, I used my Hank & Henry Trash Panda. It's a grayish kind of purpley tone. And then I topped it off with my Becca Cosmetics Pink Frosting. I just wanted a little bit of, you know, kind of vampy vibes since that's where my look ended up going. Again, if I haven't done so yet, I'm gonna pin it up above so you can see how I created my eye look, because it should have been the video before this. But anyways, so right now I have to tell you guys, when it comes to the foundation, again, we're gonna be doing a wear test on the foundation, so I will have another check-in. I'm not sure if this is the concealer or what, but typically I think this might be the concealer. There's like a little patchy spot basically right here where the color kind of lifted when I was blending out my eye makeup. I definitely already have settling in my cheek area where my smile lines are, though the issues I was having on my nose, that's been corrected. So after I had done the setting spray and kind of, you know, let it melt and blend with the sponge, that had gone away. So we'll see how it continues throughout the day. But so far it looks okay. I don't know if maybe I'm having the settling issues due to not using 2 primers like I typically do. I had figured that, hey, the primer I use today, it's usually pretty good in pore filling, so I didn't think it would be a big deal. But we will see as the day continues. I will be taking pictures, letting you guys see how the day progresses if I cannot do check-ins, because this is where my concern is going to be, how bad it breaks up throughout the day. That, or, you know, again, typically I typically do mix also serums with my foundations quite often. So we will see how it goes. If I need to, I'll do another day for wear test as well. Before though, I finish off the video and go on my merry way for today, I did want to tell you guys what this foundation is supposed to do. So this says Ultimate Coverage in a surprising, lightweight and breathable cream, a perfectly balanced distribution of pigment and water of high concentrations, allows formula to adapt to all skin types. It's a lightweight and oil-free. It creates a second skin effect, flexible coverage with a natural long wear finish. So it's a natural finish. I don't know what that necessarily means. It says intense pigmentation ensures that uneven skin tone, redness, hyperpigmentation, prevents pigments from settling in fine lines, dryness, and pores. That's already a lie because it's settling in my smile line. So it says one pump to perfection. I did about two and a half pumps, do my entire face and neck, so that's not too bad. It had said, oh, so they do actually recommend with the brush. But anyways, again, I will do check-ins throughout the day and let you guys know how things go. Bye-bye. Okay, you guys, so I wanted to do a quick check-in right now. It's been about 2 hours roughly since I did my makeup and I put my foundation. So far, from what I could see, I actually haven't had anything else break down. Again, except for here where my smile lines are, I have very deep dimples. So in all honesty, I probably should have given it some slack in the beginning, since most of my foundations, no matter how well or how amazing they are, they tend to crease on my cheeks. Because look at my dimples. They're pretty freaking deep. But anyways, so far nothing else has broken up. My nose looks so much better than it did at the beginning. Again, I think I should have put something that was pore filling on my nose. Not sure. But yeah. My under eyes are still looking very good. So I'm pretty happy thus far. I will try to do one more check-in before my last one and keep you guys posted and let you guys know how it's going so far. All right.
So I'm having to do a voiceover for my final check-in because it's 12 o'clock in the morning. But in total, I had the foundation on for just over 11 and a half hours. For the most part, the foundation held up pretty well. Yes, you do see some wearing around my face, but not too bad. Just my chin area, basically my mouth area is the worst part. I'm definitely curious to see how this would wear when I mix it with serums like I typically do. Also, maybe if the coverage around my cheek area would improve if I had put a pore filling primer. But overall, this is a great foundation. It was very breathable. Just make sure you don't cake it on and do light layers, you guys. Bye bye.